There are very few brands that I specifically call out and talk about, whether it's on this podcast or in any of the other content that I create for you. And that is because I generally will only talk about a brand specifically when I have used them, I love them, I trust them, I think they are a brand that is doing the absolute best they can to genuinely provide the best product they can for your pets. When I decided to have this guest on today's podcast, I wasn't 100% sure at first, and then I decided to just take a deeper dive into the products they are offering, why and how they were created, and try them out myself. So that's exactly what I did. And yes, this is a little bit of a newer company to the market, but I think that's okay because of the products that and the quality of products that they are giving us. So, what company am I talking about and who am I referring to? Well, I am talking about Poli Pet Products. Now, if you're on social media, there is a good chance you have seen some of their advertising. And I will tell you straight up, the first time, for a long time, I saw their advertising, my social feeds was inundated with their advertising, and I just kept scrolling past like, oh, it's just another supplement company. Until I dug in and looked at what they're doing. So, to tell you a little bit more about the company and the products that they offer, I invited Spencer Matthews from Poli Pet Products to join me on today's podcast episode. And hopefully you'll find that whether you are in the market for any one of their supplements or not, you'll file this information away for future use, because I can guarantee you that there is at least one product in this product line, and I have it in mind right now, that your pet could actually benefit from today. With that being said, I don't want to hype this up too much. I want to introduce you to Spencer Matthews and Poli Pet Products. Have you tried training methods that just didn't work? Do you feel that your pet is not getting his or her nutritional needs met? Are illnesses and bad behavior your daily norm? You're going to want to join me on the Pet Parenting Reset, where you'll hear interesting and informative interviews and get solutions to all your pet problems. I'm your host, Jessica L. Fisher. Well, Spencer, thank you so much for joining me. Spencer is with Poli Pet, so we are going to be talking all about Poli Pet today and kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of dog supplements, because my mind is like all over the place. So hopefully you can help me like take this crazy line and flatten it out a little bit. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for having me, and hopefully I can help a little bit for you and the
Yeah.
audience. So,
Well, I appreciate you being here. So tell me a little bit about how you got involved with Poli Pet and what is the mission? What is Poli Pet here to do? What's the goal?
yeah, so my involvement started almost a year ago, really kind of loosely in the background as I kind of came into the business and became more aware of it. Was working in human supplements in the gut health, the detox, and immune supplement world for the last 5 years, heavily with functional medicine docs and everything there. And kind of joined Polly from the sidelines and from the outside, and then really just beginning this year, jumped in to the day to day just a few months ago, really learning more about the products and learning about how to share them. So I'm experienced with the brand, but still learning every day, and excited to bring it more to the world and help develop new products. But Polly really started in the early fall of 2021 on a mission to help our pets find natural solutions, right? And supplementation in general, it has some um, misnomers and myths and challenges, but finding natural supplements is even harder, right? And then helping people understand the importance and the need for detox, right? It's still even harder. So we wanted to use some of what we see work in the human world with pets, as we got awesome feedback from people using human supplements on their pets, right? And then creating custom formulated products for pets specifically. So that was kind of the birth of Poly Pet Products. And then over the last year and a half, we've come out with a handful of other products in that same vein, but really natural solutions that pet parents can trust, are going to do good for their pet, and they could honestly even take themselves. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know, just in talking to you prior to recording, we chatted a little bit about how saturated the market is. We know, like, whether you're looking at human supplements and now looking at dog supplements, like, it is a super saturated market. There are supplements galore. And I know, like, people that I work
Yeah.
with individually who are coming to me for health coaching for their pet, I mean, they'll have a list of supplements that they're feeding their dog. And I'm like, is your dog getting any food in there? Like, what is going on with
Mm-hmm.
all of these
Yeah.
supplements that we're giving our dogs? So for me, I like to, and I know I told you this, if I can do it with whole foods, then by all means, I want to do it with food. And then if I can't, or if I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for, then I look to add in supplements. And so my supplement cabinet is minimal, but I've
I love
recently
it.
added some Polypet supplements to my cabinet because I think that after talking to you and getting some feedback from other pet health coaches, the supplement line that Polypet has is different. So, and I know you kind of alluded to, like, Polypet is looking to do like as natural as possible. So I know personally, I started with the detox product. So I don't know if you have specific products that you'd like to talk about, but if you want to start with a detox product,
Yeah.
I think that's a good one to start with.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely believers that food is the best medicine, and nothing's going to substitute that. And I think where supplements go wrong, and where they unfortunately have taken a turn, is that people turn to that first before they turn to food, right? And the word supplement alone, really by definition, is to supplement your diet, right? Your nutrition. And it's funny that it's so foreign for people. So you're one of those that are kind of shouting it from the rooftop, and I love it. You haven't created the supplement graveyard because you're so conscious about what you're doing with food first. And we're definitely not here to replace food by any means. But detox is one area where food and nutrition and diet often can fall short, just because of the toxic load that we've created by our environment, and the thousands of registered and unregistered chemicals in herbicides, pesticides, cleaning products, household products, right? And as clean as you can get even in your home, it's just inevitable at this point, right? The detox is no longer an option, but it's really a requirement, at least occasionally, right? And some pets need it more than most, right? In terms of how deep you go into a detox. But yeah, I mean, we have a detox bundle, which is three of our top selling products. And the one that you picked up, I think, was our Renew product, Polypet Renew, which is our binder. And then we have, which really is focused on helping, bind and remove the toxins. And then we have Boost, which is our mitochondrial cellular support product, and that's a liquid. And then we have a Nourish, which is as a multi-blend. Those are kind of the three, that we see. Hey, um, three components, right, to the basic components of the detox, which food, the importance of food can help with that. Of, hey, let's help upregulate energy, mitochondrial cellular energy, in a way that allows your pet to naturally remove toxins and waste out of the product through the lymphatic system, the digestive system, right, the kidneys and livers, and other things there, because that's all natural process. But a lot of times with the toxic load, we have to support that. So by removing toxins, you're reducing stress on the cells and on enzymatic reactions and on the body, and on everything that your pet. But then by also supporting cellular function and mitochondria, you're also kind of creating a balance, where there's higher energy level than toxic load. And that's what Boost and Renew kind of tag team together. That's the power of both of them. Is that Renew is focused on reducing toxin load, while Boost is focused on upregulating mitochondrial energy. And if you can make sure that, your energy levels are higher than your toxicity, well, then the body will naturally by itself, complete natural detox, processes. And so that's really the functions of those two. And then, you come in with the micronutrients and the vitamins and the minerals and the probiotics and prebiotics with something like a Nourish, right? Once you kind of go through that detox period, that can then help just maintain a healthy homeostasis. So
Mm.
that's our, approach and kind of function of those products. But
Yeah. No, I'm glad you explained it that way because the Boost is actually the one that I'm going to be adding in with her soon. I like to kind of pulse. I don't, for a little
yeah,
while, I was giving her a supplement like every day for like a year. And just, I don't know, I got good results from it. And it was what I called her multivitamin, though it was a transfer factors from bovine colostrum, and we were getting good results from it. But after talking to some of my colleagues, we kind of I came to the realization in talking with some other people that the body is going to kind of get used to it, getting the
yeah,
same thing over
absolutely.
and over and over again after a while. So having, if you know that there is some sort of deficit that you need to meet with supplementation for your dog or your cat, that one, pulsing, I think is a good um, way to go about it. Like, give it for a little while, then don't give it for a little while, give it for like, so the body doesn't really get
Yeah,
super used to it. But also having, and this probably isn't going to be a very popular statement for you, but having multiple brands that you can rely on and trust. So again, you're getting that kind of rotation and you're not giving the body the same thing all the time. For me is, I think, really, really important. So having a couple or a handful of companies that you really, really trust, that you feel like you can reach for their product and you're not think twice about it, is important to me. And I think with doing a little bit of research, that in my mind, I have very, very few supplement companies that I look at that way. And I think Poly Pet is one of them.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, we have a certain line, but we don't have every solution, right? And yes, we have a binder, but there's other binders out there, right? And identifying a rotation and yeah, we're going to be doing product development to hopefully provide more solutions soon, in the coming months and years. But we're we totally know that part of the parenting protocol is to find multiple options, and we hope that we can be part of yours, right? And we're grateful that we can be, because we know we're not going to be the end all. But yeah, that pulsing method, that kind of rotational method of switching on and off products, switching on and off, detoxing or deworming or cleansing, right? Um, is a great approach.
Yeah. So I know for my dog specifically, like when I am supplementing, I have a very like I have a reason that I'm supplementing, and I also am doing my best at collecting data to find out, is this working
Yeah.
for me? Is this working for my dog, right? Or my cat, if that happens to be the pet you're dealing with. And sometimes that can be really hard. Sometimes we have to look at anecdotal evidence. So when you're developing products like this, what are you looking for? What are you expecting? What are you hoping that people are seeing results in their pets wise?
Yeah, when we formulate, we really start with ingredient research, right? Things that have substantiation, that have been proven to have certain effects in the past. Um, some of this, has been tested on humans and then, tested with pets. And then we try to run, baseline kind of sample formulas and test them on both, cats and dogs and various animals to see, are they getting the results or the effects that we think that they should, based on our research. Um, but pets can't talk, right? And so it is hard to get that immediate feedback. Um, and some things take more time than others. But really, at the end of the day, like we have seen, to your point, science. Like, can the pet do they wake up with more energy? Can they jump in the back of the car when they couldn't before, right? Little things like that. Are they less hyperactive when they're kenneled um, than they are normally, right? Are they so things like that are kind of things that we hear and that we look for, right? How they interact with other animals or with strangers is often, a sign for some of that anxiety reduction. Allergies are a big one, especially with detox too, um, that we've seen kind of be eliminated. So those are some of the early signs that you can see, like, hey, is this detox being effective? Like, are there less sniffles or are there less like ticks because of allergies or seasonal stuff like that? So that's often right, whether you're using changing your diet to raw food or to more holistic options, like those also should be signs you look for too. And some of that, like, are allergies being reduced, are some of those things improving? Because to me those are, and to us, like, those are stories we hear about it working, but those are also things we look for. So
Yeah, and I think this is a good time of year also. I like to do just a general detox for both myself and my dog in the spring and then again in the fall,
yeah.
just to like get a baseline going. It's not like there's something going on that I need a detox for, but just to kind of keep everything working really good, really smoothly. So getting that, I think the products that you have are pretty gentle, effective, but gentle. Because there are some products out there on the market that are kind of like heavy duty detoxes, and we don't necessarily want to jump to that. And also, I think there are a lot of dogs who um, their body may not actually be in a position to handle a detox well.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so keeping all of that in mind, but I I do think that just how gentle the product is is something I also want to highlight, because as I was just saying, there are some products that can be really really harsh, like heavy detoxes, and that can be kind of scary. Not like if you're doing it and you weren't expecting it, but also if you happen to give your dog something that is a heavy detox and you're like, holy moly, what is happening? And your dog feels like crap, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's common in humans, right, for us to have reactions to detox because we're detoxing too fast. And the same is true of our pets. And, um, we have had very few people, come to us and say, hey, like, this was too fast. And so it's, the method is slow and low, low and slow. Like, just, dose slower, go one product at a time if you're introducing multiple, right? But we haven't had a lot of challenges or issues with that that we've heard from pet parents on Renew and Boost. But I think you make a good point, Jessica, that the changes in seasons, right, are a great time for you to do a detox if you've never done one before for yourself, but especially your pet, because things, allergies flare, other, things are introduced, and so it's a great time to just kind of help make that transition um, for your animals, and it's something I do too. I'm just finishing up a parasite cleanse myself, so yeah.
There you go. Awesome. Well, I know there are a couple of other products that Polypet has. If you want to tell us about those.
Yeah, so one of our newer products is a calm anxiety product, and this is the first of its kind gummy on the market. We found that in our testing that cats aren't really gummy fans. So for cat owners, um, this one may not be for you. And then dogs have actually particularly loved it. There's some that have a struggle with it, and we found just cutting it up and throwing it on top of your food works well. But we actually just had a conversation earlier this week with a professional dog trainer that's using it, and some of he does board training, so he houses the animals and then does training. You're very familiar with that as well, and he's found it for his dogs that are involved in the training process. It's a great way. He combines it with some other homeopathic stuff for them to get a natural solution to just be able to relax a little bit when they're in their own home environment. But he also finds that for the animals that he's training and boarding, that it helps allow them to be in more of an emotional and mental state, right, as an animal to accept that training better. So we're finding good feedback on that product, and then we have a palm shield product to help protect against toxin absorption through paws and things there, and then we also have a hip and joint product as well for more of those senior dogs looking for extra support. So and then, yeah, we're currently looking at more solutions to help, the gamut of the pet detox world, um, and um, yeah, working with other vets to find areas that aren't really um, being supported as much as they could. So
Yeah. Well, awesome. I think that's great. And I'm, as my audience knows, I don't really have like product placement companies come on the show very often. It's not something that I have done somewhat intentionally, but when I find a company that is really trying to get it right, I think it's important that we support those companies. And to something you had said earlier about, you're just your supplements, right? Like you're not trying to be
yeah,
everything
yeah,
for everyone. Um, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who owns my local healthy pet store, and she came back from Global, and she was just like, I wish these companies would just stay in their lane. Like all of these
oh,
food companies that have been food companies for decades are all of a sudden like, well, we want to take, capture part of this supplement market. So they're coming out with all these different supplements, and then they're not working, right? Like, or people aren't buying them. So they are constantly like taking back and adding new SKUs. And she's just like, please, your food company, stay in your lane, right?
yeah, stop,
um,
stop,
yeah.
you know,
And, I think there are, I don't want to say like 100% across the board that all companies should just do one thing and do it. Like, there are some companies I think that are expanding and really doing it well. But in general, it's like, do something really, really well and like provide that service to pets and pet parents. And so I'm happy to hear that you're just like, we're not everything for everyone. We're just trying to do this really, really well.
yeah. Well, we appreciate you having us on and highlighting and using the product and recommending it. It's fun to find like-minded people. Pet detox isn't known or done enough yet. I think you've been shouting it for a while, and there's plenty of other pioneers that are shouting it, and we're starting to more and more, and we're excited just to get more people doing it. So
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And, I think, as you said, it is what it is. We live in a really toxic world, and we can try our best to reduce our toxin load. But, I just heard the other day there was a research paper that was published. It wasn't too terribly long ago. All the quote unquote organic wines coming out of Napa Valley are still testing positive for glyphosate because it's in the water. Like, we can't get
it's
around
everywhere.
it. It
Yeah,
is, it's everywhere. We can't get away from all of the toxins in the world. And so we just do our best. We try our best, and um, hopefully more and more people will realize that uh, even though we do our best, sometimes we need to do a little bit more.
yeah, yep,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and I am really excited to try all of the products. Like I said, Boost is the one that I'm going to try next, and I'm going to be getting some data results from trying the Renew. With my dog Kimberly, we did. I did milk thistle, but I did the Renew in combination with milk thistle to help her liver kind of get everything bound and push it all out of the
Balance.
body. So
Yeah,
we're gonna test her liver values again here in a couple of weeks, and I've got my fingers crossed.
awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear how it goes. So
Yeah, but yeah, so for people who maybe haven't heard about Poli Pet, where can they, because I know you're on social everywhere, right? But where can people
yeah.
find out more, look at the ingredient? I tell people all the time, read the ingredients. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the ingredient panel when you look at something? Because, I actually just interviewed another formulator who does supplement formulator, and he was kind of giving me here's a couple of things to look for. Like, we don't want to see certain additives and supplements. And so, like, read the ingredient panel. What do you think about that? How does that make you feel? Does it make sense to you? Like, so so when I read the ingredient panels on the Poli Pet products, I felt comfortable giving them to my dog. So I highly encourage you to go check out the ingredient panels, see how you think they're going to work for your dog. If you need help, let me know. But where can people find Poli Pet?
Yeah, polypetproducts.com is our website. And then, we're on Instagram and Facebook and pretty much anywhere pet parents are, we try to be. So, yeah.
POLIPET.
POLI,
Right.
POLI, products.com. Yep.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Spencer. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and I'm just helping to educate people a little bit more about supplementation for their dogs.
Likewise. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure that you're following the show so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to rate the show on your podcast app. I'd also love it if you'd share this podcast with your friends and family so that they can benefit from the information to help their pets live long, happy lives too. Don't forget to take advantage of this special discount as a listener today and get access to over 100 online videos and my online dog training, The Furry Family Coach. Just go to thefurryfamilycoach.com and use code PODCAST at checkout to get your first month for only $7. That's thefurryfamilycoach.com and use code PODCAST at checkout to get your first month for only $7. I can't wait to have you join and see you on the inside.